Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack. This is your match reaction. Aston Villa 0, Manchester United 0. An underwhelming performance, it has to be said. We've got some things to talk about. We won't be as negative as midweek, the midweek match reaction. But nonetheless, guys, please do get your opinions and your comments into the comment section, into the live chat. Smash a like on the video, brand new video to the watch along. So please do hit that like button as well. Do subscribe if you're new, as always, guys. But we'll jump straight into it. We've got Ben and we've got Chris with us today. Any other official channel members, guys, if you want to jump in and give your opinion on the screen like the guys are doing, you can do so. The link is in the description. Sorry, it's in the community tab of the YouTube homepage. So jump in, and if you want to come in for 2 minutes, 10 minutes, the whole video, you're more than welcome. Chris, I'll go to you. You're on my direct left. Look, not a bad performance at the end of the day. I don't think too many teams would be, disappointed with coming away with a point from Villa Park, but probably still an underwhelming performance nonetheless.
Well, yeah, but I mean, coming off of what we saw in the Europa League, I think it's a positive thing. I mean, our midfield wasn't played through as much as it was on, Thursday? And then, I think in reality, we looked a little bit more dangerous than Villa did, to be honest. I mean, I think Villa's best chance came in the 93rd minute when Delo had the block. I mean, Other than that, I didn't see them really threaten us, which I was pretty surprised with, to be honest, after they played. And maybe a friend of mine that's a Villa fan said that, maybe it's a trap game for them because they just came off a big performance against Bayern, and so, I didn't love the starting lineup, but, and we talked about the subs, talking about the subs in the second half. I think what really messed up the idea of that was Maguire coming off and Mazraoui coming off. And having to make at least those two subs and not be able to get Diallo on, or maybe getting Ugarte on or someone else on in their stead in that point, So I have to applaud them. I mean, team played well. But like you said, final ball was lacking.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, give us your thoughts on it. I'm not happy with not winning, but I suppose given the backlash over the last week or so, a point before the international break, keep the haters quiet as possible, I reckon.
Yeah, it's by getting points on the board now, isn't it? And like I say, playing away, get a point. You can tell we both played in Europe midweek.
Yeah.
Nobody was actually fighting for it, were they? We didn't have no final balls. I'm just surprised Ireland went off again now. I'd love to see him play with Xerxes.
Yeah. Well, we're not really getting it. And again, Marcus Rashford being taken off.
Yeah, I can understand that, though. One more tackle and the walked one. So it's that,
Yeah.
I got to be honest with that one. And as much as you didn't like it, Jack, I mean, if you watched Rashford in that game, he tracked back, he was running, he was doing everything. It could, and the couple fouls late when he got the yellow card and the one right after that, just kind of like Kobe Manu, maybe, and he did play the first half and played very well against Porto. Maybe his legs were kind of out at that point. And, because like you said, it was laziness on the second tackle where he just kind of stuck the foot in. So maybe it's the right thing to take him off at that point. I mean, granted, I understand he's been our most threatening player, most dangerous player. But, I mean, if you can't, I'd rather see him take off than get a second yellow and then he misses a game.
Absolutely. Chris, do you think our front three, so obviously you've seen Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund today, do you think that's our strongest front three? We've got youth and we've got pace and we've got strength in there. Obviously I do like Ahmad as well, and I'm surprised he didn't come on today ahead of Anthony. But is Ten Hag maybe settling on that front three now?
I think our best front three is Rashford, Højlund, and Garnacho. But Ahmad I don't even consider Anthony. I just kind of whatever. But I think the one thing I would like to see is if you want to quote the rotation, I think the next game, I know we have international break, but it should be Rashford, Højlund, and Diallo, and see if Diallo can do something with the final, because he tends to play a little bit better of a final ball in the Højlund. He looks to pass a little bit more than the other two. So I think I'd like to see that. But honestly, I think the whole Mazraoui and Maguire injury, if they're injuries, I know Maguire's was, but I don't know about Mazraoui. But I think those, at least the Maguire injury, probably stopped Diallo from coming on today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I can't. I mean, I didn't see Mazraoui get hurt. I saw Maguire; he was limping, so I understand that one. So if you go 1-for-1, then all of a sudden, then now you don't get to see Diallo at that point.
Yeah, and do you think he got his substitutions right today? You know what I mean? Because obviously you were saying, about Marcus Rashford, and we did have a man sent off midweek, so that's probably in the back of Eric Ten Hag's mind as well. He wasn't afraid to make the changes at back, and big shout out to Johnny Evans. What an unbelievable performance again. Ten Hag, in fairness to him, was not afraid of making changes. It's just making the right ones. Do you think he maybe got it right today?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm guessing that Mazraoui and Maguire were injuries or knocks or whatever. So at that point, I can't knock those two. The one problem I have is we spent $60+ million on Ugarte, and he hasn't seen the field in 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hear and I read. This is all we do is we read, we hear the news, and you hear Ten Hag say, "Oh, he's got to get used to playing, and he's got to get used to our system." I'm sorry, if you spend $60 million, he should be plug and play.
And do you think do you think the midfield three, the selection from Ten Hag was the right call, given how well we played?
Yeah, I mean,
like we've seen that before, supposedly with better opposition, that Ten Hag likes to go with them 3 ball playing central midfielders to try and get on it as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy with it because I want to see Ugarte play. I like the way he plays and everything like that. But the problem is, if Ugarte comes in, the Manu comes off. But Manu plays, the problem is I don't know if Manu, for as much as he played in the last year and so forth, I think he's going to be a candidate that if he starts, he's going to be coming off at the 60-minute mark, because you have to manage his minutes at 19 years old. I'm sorry. It's just the way it goes. But I mean, I can't honestly, at this point, I can't fault anything. The lineup, it played well. Maguire and Evans, Johnny Evans, player of the game, man of the match. I mean, I can't fault the lineup. I mean, I think we had better chances than Villa. And to be honest with you, I mean, should we be more clinical? We've always had that problem. So it's not a new thing, for us. So.
Absolutely. Let me get down through some of the comments here. We'll see what some of you guys think about it. David says, well, that could have been worse, I guess. I was picturing a hiding, considering how well Villa played against Bayern midweek. Yeah, and the thing about it, I think it was mentioned in commentary there, sometimes when you play a massive game like that midweek, there tends to be a bit of a come down after it, and I think Villa probably experienced a little bit of that today. Dylan says, all the way down in 14th, how can we be that bad? We're literally as bad as the relegation teams. Ben, I'll go to you on this one real quick before we move on with the comments. We're talking about 8 points from 7 Premier League games and sitting 14th in the table. We've scored 5 goals and we've conceded 8. I mean, it has to be better, really, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Can it get any worse for Man United? You know what I mean? There's something not clicking, isn't there? There's something in the team not clicking.
Yeah, and again,
we said it before. Ten Hag gets all the rap, don't it? But when the players are out on the pitch,
absolutely,
they've got to
100%.
talk.
Yeah, and there was another there was a graphic put up during the game there on Sky Sports saying that we're for XG, we're 5th in the league. So expected goals, if you're to score all of your expected goals, we would be 5th in the league. But in terms of goals scored, we're 19th in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really not good enough, is it, Chris?
No, it's not. But you got to remember, I mean, Højlund's now just 2 games back from injury, basically at this point. So he's been gone. He was our 20-goal scorer last season, so he's been out. I mean, I do wonder, like what Ben said, do we play? Is there a chance that we play Xerxes at the 10 and Højlund at the 9, and you move Bruno in the midfield with an Ugarte or someone like that at that point, and then you have your wingers? How would that work? I'm interested in seeing that. I mean, because another one of my friends, a United fan, said that look at it this way: Xerxes last season got Bologna to the Champions League. So he's not a bad player. It's just a matter of how do we get everybody to fit?
Yeah.
And that's the issue. And I'll be honest with you, today, if I had to pick one player that I wasn't impressed with today, it was Garnacho.
Yeah. I don't think he did a lot.
I mean, from our last live, I went back and I watched the first half of the Porto game, and I saw a couple of times when you could say Rashford didn't give his all, like tracking back a little bit, and I get it, but Garnacho wasn't better at that today.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a problem, but I think it's not only on Marcus, so I don't want to get on him about it, because there's times that, I mean, on the first goal for Porto, Rashford was literally walking back towards the guy that was making the initial cross when he could have got in front of him and not maybe stopped the cross, but whatever. But Garnacho did the same thing today. So I mean, if you want to pick man of the match, would be Evans, and then the guy that really disappointed today was Garnacho. I mean, he didn't really do much today.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. That's a decent result, says Finn, after the Spurs disaster. Party Booper says, a good point, but in the grand scheme of things, not great at all. Well, it doesn't get us out of the rut we're in at the moment, which is the worrying thing. D says, 3 wins in 13 games in all competitions, 14th in the league, worst start to a Premier League season ever for us. There is no, what's that word? There is no...
Tactic.
Okay, tactic with
lethality, no lethalness.
Mentality. Sorry, yeah, with his single tactic. Plus, he's not for changing it up. Not good enough by Eric. He also says, when do we start accepting subpar as good enough? The mentality that a goalless draw with no real threat on goal is not good enough. I agree 100%. And maybe we have to look at ourselves as well and demand more. Ten Hag has had the worst start to a season 2 years in a row. Only Ollie is under him. Just seen it on Sky Sports. That doesn't bode well. Brian says, poor game, poor performance from both teams, and no one deserved to win. Take the point and enjoy the international break. That's 4 clean sheets in 7 Premier League games. If we can get our shooting boots on, I still have hope for the season. Well, again, look, I mean, there's positives and negatives to take out of everything, isn't there? And, you know, I do like to focus on the positives more so than anything else, because it just means I'm happier in my life. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The one thing I see, Jack, though, is, and I was watching the game, and I don't know if you noticed, is that, like, most other teams, when you watch them play, their front three are, when we get in the attacking third, are compact. They're ready to be near post, mid goal, far post. Our front three, when we get the ball in the final 18, Rashford and Garnacho are so far wide that there's no one going to be in the box. Yeah. Like they're not going to. If we make any sort of cross, I mean, I saw Rashford sitting out on the left wing, and it's not his fault. I'm not crucifying him, but tactically, he's sitting out there just waiting for the ball out on the touchline. And I'm like, we have the ball in our attack. You need to be in, and you need to be crashing the net or doing something. And I think that leads to, and I understand the inverted fullback, which is terrible. Like I mean, we don't have Roberto Carlos and Cafu playing that's going to score goals. That, you know, I'm sorry, that tactically that's an issue for me, because that's how we're not scoring goals. We don't have enough players in the box.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, Emilio Martinez voted man of the match.
What? Johnny Evans? Oh, well, that's obviously the American man of the match. Shows what you know.
Well, that's the EPL, the fantasy, whatever the EPL thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Brian says, 100%. We created the better chances in that game, and we just need to start scoring. Jock says his decision making is terrible. I wanted him to succeed, but can't be positive about today. He is shocking with decisions. I fear the worst is yet to come. Brian says, surprised with Mazraoui going off for Lindelof. Thought he was decent, but Evans was immense. Yeah, I don't know. Surely there was a knock there, although we thought there was a knock with Rashford midweek, and that turned out not to be the case.
Well, the other thing is, like, I don't know if you guys saw it at the pregame and stuff like that. They had David Ornstein on. And Ornstein, you know, premier journalist and stuff like that, said that there's no talk of changing Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Like that they don't have contingencies for something, but they haven't talked to Tuchel. They haven't talked to
the one thing I would say about that, Chris, and it's something that Ineos have been very good with since they took over, because it was so bad before, is leaks. Leaks are not getting out. You know what I mean?
That's true. But he did say that.
I think even when you've got big reporters like Ornstein like that, I think it doesn't mean that the boys don't have a contingency plan. You know, and
I think there is a contingency plan, but like even Ornstein said that Inzaghi was even surprised because no one's in. Like they said, they offered it to him. He goes, he said that no one's even talked to him, and he doesn't even speak English. So why would you make him the Man United manager? Like that's where the press is there. I mean, it's just a hate at this point. I mean, granted, I'm not happy with the tactics that Ten Hag's been doing, but I don't think there's going to be a change. I really don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan says, just shows that you can't play De Ligt, Martinez. They don't work well together. I disagree with that completely, considering that they were really, really good for like 5 games together. We're 20th in the league for XG now. 20th? Well, during the game there, I think we can't go from 5th to 20th in the space of 20 minutes. I seen the XG in the second half there on the screen, but anyway. Finn says, we needed a proven striker and we didn't go for one. There was question marks over Rashford, Hyland and Xerxes before a ball was kicked. I still think we need a loan or whatever for a striker in January. D says, yes, Chris, there's nobody to release the ball to if we're in the final third and get them in on goal. Finn says, we don't have an out-and-out striker that can hold the ball up. Well, Xerxes can hold it up, but he's not an out-and-out striker. So you're getting rid of one attribute for another, which, you know, is
I mean, he didn't do anything in the game when he came on.
He done nothing. He was awful when he came on. He looked like a fish out of water, in fairness to him.
I may start calling him the big donkey.
Finally, guys, before we finish up, I'll ask you first, Ben. What do you make of Bruno Fernandes's performance today? Obviously, he's had a run of really poor games. I thought he was okay today. And maybe he's after maybe stemming the flow of bad performances, hopefully.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a great performance. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was average.
Yeah.
Same as most of them, to be honest with you.
Do you think it'll be
free
enough
kick, really unlucky? If it keeps going, yeah. I think the international break's coming at the right time for us, which is a change. Because normally it comes at the wrong time, don't it? I think getting a break is going to be good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, what did you make of his performance?
I'd agree with Ben. Average. I mean, nothing terrible, nothing great. I mean, I didn't see any great balls through. But look at we're not trying to play through the middle, so I don't know what we expect out of him. I mean, we're playing out wide. Everything goes out wide. I mean, every time we get the ball, where's it go out wide, and everything like that. So I don't know what we can expect from him besides, the occasional we get the ball in the attacking third and he does something at the top of 18 or inside, but because we're not playing through our midfield, to be honest, we're playing through our wingers, and that's. I mean, if you see when they get the ball, the first pass is always out wide.
Yeah, our final ball was poor today as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't understand. Like, a friend of mine made the comment, we were watching the game. He goes, the one thing that's been lacking in all, like, most teams is nobody crosses the ball anymore. Well, like, it's so poor that, like, crosses into the box are so erratic that how do you get on the end of something? Like, it's so bad. Like,
yeah.
And I think it's gone from the game almost.
Yeah. So I presume then, Chris, you think Ten Hag is going to survive, and are you with the dust after settling over the the last week or so, do you think it probably is the right call to keep him, or do you think it should be changed? I mean, like, I obviously said it's time for him to go on Thursday night, and looking back on it, and you kind of think about, I can't help but think about, how adamant Arsenal fans were to sack Arteta at the time, and you can make the argument for, this is his first season under the new regime where he's finally got some structure behind him and so on and so forth. And is it a matter of just maybe giving him some more time to try and bed in these new players, or do we start again?
No, I don't. I mean, And I was the same way, Jack. On Thursday, I wanted him out, and honestly, I'm still, I'm about 50-50 at this point because I don't love his tactics still.
Yeah.
I mean, to do what we did today, it was just a solid defensive performance, but we don't where are the tactics in the final third? If we're going to blame Ruud van Nistelrooy because he was the one that was brought in and blah 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 whatever, but as a whole, he's the manager, he's the one that has to say this is what needs to happen, and I just think we haven't clicked for at least a year in the final third, and it's an ongoing problem and it needs to be fixed, and I don't know if that's, as everybody says, we don't have an out-and-out striker. I think Højlund is, but we don't give him service. Did he get service today? No. I mean, he got a couple. He was off the shoulder of, in the first half a couple times, and he tried to get in. But other than that, we don't give service, and that's the issue. It's just
that was an issue last year as well. We were all so impressed with Højlund getting 16 goals last season with the amount of service he was getting.
Yeah, but I mean, look when we were today. Rashford was threatening what did he do? He had the ball on the corner of 18, he cut in, and he took a shot. That's not service. There's no, and to be honest, I saw a couple times when Rashford would get the ball in the first half, and he's going with it, but then Højlund just instead of staying with them to play a combination play, he just kind of drifts off into the middle. And now you leave Rashford 1-on-2 with the defenders, and now what do you expect? There's a supreme disconnect, and I'm going to say Ten Hag stays because, for one, we don't have any. I don't think there's someone that can step in and do better right now. And two, he needs to make tactical changes, and if he doesn't, then he's out by January. At that point,
Ben, what do you make of it? Has the dust settled a little bit? Are you happier, maybe, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'm 50-50 as well. Like you say, tactics. If he's going to stop, he's got to change as well. Not easy for a manager.
Yeah.
But we just need to swap something, like you say. Something needs to go off.
Yeah, and we're very fickle as fans as well, aren't we? If we had a bit Villa 3-0 today, we'd be like, fucking give that man a new contract. You know what I mean? But I do think we could, tactics are the issue, I think, and I don't like harping back to the past that often, but if you go back to when Ferguson came in, it was the dressing room needed to be sorted out, the culture within the club, an iron fist, and that's what he brought more so than real tactics, whereas now I think there is maybe a bit of a structure there that I think you probably would get an uptake from a manager that, that we're not a bad squad. You know what I mean? We're certainly not the 14th worst squad in the league. But anyway, I digress.
I just think, Jack, we're static. In the final third, we're very static. It's very predictable. There's no movement. There's no, even if you want to throw Eriksen and Manu and Bruno in there, they're even static. They're standing waiting for the ball. We go side to side more than we go north. We go east and west more than we go north and south.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that, and to be honest, nobody's checking into the ball to get the ball. We're just static. No runs, no creativity, and that's the issue. We almost have to wait for a mistake to score.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, international break time again. Jesus Christ, thank God there's not another one now until March after this. But lads, I appreciate you coming on as always. Look, not the end of the world, but a little bit deflating. But look, as always, I appreciate you coming on, and I chat to you during the week. All right.
See you, Jack.
No worries. Talk you later.
Yeah, as always. Thanks everybody for watching as well, guys. Please do smash a like on the video. Sorry I didn't get through all of the comments as well. Look, we go into the international break now with maybe not a lot of positivity, but not the negativity off the back of another defeat, which is, I suppose, a silver lining. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm going to get a nice little takeaway now, and then I'm going for a couple of little pints of Guinness in a few hours. So looking forward to that, and maybe just get away from all of this nonsense for a little while. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'll have the Talking Pints video up tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that as well. and any of the official channel members will be going live for episode 2 of the Ultimate Manchester United quiz during the week as well. Keep an eye out for that. Anyone who's not an official member, if you want to come on and watch that live, you do have to be a member. Link is in the description. Go check out the options there. Thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate the support as always. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll chat to you during the week. Take it easy.